Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Joey. I am a full-time work-from-home, stay-at-home mom, an author, and the person who's going to help you become the main character in your own life. And this is Campbell. He's likely going to join me for most of the videos you ever see me make. If you already see like my vlogs and stuff like that, then you know. Anyway, hi. I used to make content like this back in the day, and I stopped. I stopped for a number of reasons, mostly because I was dealing with stuff in my personal life when it comes to my son. But I'm back, and being back, I figured what better way to start things back off than to talk about the art of stop waiting for the perfect time. Because you guys, that's exactly what I've been doing. I have been, some would say, wasting my time I've been planning. Let's say I've been doing lots and lots of planning. My Notion is chock full of really exciting ideas. And every time I would get a new idea, I would tell myself that I have to flesh out that idea before I can start the idea that I had fleshed out before that. And if this is sounding familiar to you, then hi, you're in the right place, because I seem to be stuck in that cycle over and over and over again. And I have a feeling if you've clicked on this video, then so have you. So let's talk about not waiting for the perfect time and what you should do instead. The reality is, you probably already know this and maybe just need the confirmation of it. The right time, or like the perfect time, is an illusion. It's not real. It does not exist. The only time that exists is right here, right now. And the only time that is the right time, the only time that is the perfect time, is the time that you deem such. You can get yourself stuck in this idea of waiting until you feel ready. And I don't know what it is necessarily that you are in a season of waiting for, or like, I have to wait until I feel ready, or I have to wait until I feel like it's the perfect time. They say it all the time when it comes to children. Like, you never actually feel ready to have a child. I would argue that you don't ever actually feel ready to do any of the things that are on your heart. For instance, if you know me and follow me, I'm an author, and I have had, luckily, a pretty successful career as a writer, but I never feel ready. And it doesn't matter how long I've been doing it. It doesn't matter how much success I've had. It doesn't matter how many books I've written or published. It doesn't matter how many times I've contributed to notable places online. I still feel like I'm not ready. I literally have a degree in writing. I don't know how much more ready I can get. And I'm telling you that because it doesn't matter necessarily if you are fully educated on the matter or not. There is so much that you can't know. There's so much that you won't know until you actually start doing it. They talk about learning on the job all the time when you are in training for a job that I'm gonna guess you're probably not all that qualified for, but that you're doing anyway, because that felt less scary than doing the thing that you're passionate about, or that you've been longing for your entire life, or that you are innately talented at. I'm so guilty of this. The number of jobs that I have had that I am in absolutely zero way qualified to do, and yet I seem to become like a master of these things, because that's just how I am in a job where, like, if I'm hired to do something, I'm gonna learn everything there is to know about it, and I'm gonna do the job really well, because I like people to be proud of me. I like for managers and my higher ups to be like, wow, we're so glad we hired her. So why do we feel like we're gonna fail at the thing that we are quite literally in our hearts designed to do? So all of that being said, the perfect time is a full-on illusion. And the other thing that this whole idea of the perfect time is excellent for is what just happened? Why did my light suddenly die? Hold please. I think we're back. Are we back? I'm not entirely sure what just happened, but anyway. What I was gonna say is that the other thing that the perfect time is really great at is providing a nice cozy place for perfectionism and fear to cozy up. And I am definitely guilty of this, but it's very possible that you are telling yourself that you're in planning mode and that you're waiting for the right time, or you're waiting for the perfect time, when in reality, you're a little afraid, and you're probably feeling a little bit afraid because you have this unattainable expectation of yourself right out of the gates. So what can we do about that, and how can we get past this idea of waiting for the perfect time? How do we swallow the perfectionism, and how do we squash the fear? Let's see what we can do about it. Something I love to say is that the confidence comes from the doing. The other thing that I love to say is that the doing feels better than the wishing. And so there are two things simultaneously that kind of happen right out of the gates once you start taking action. And the first one is that you'll start to feel more confident in the thing that you're trying to do. You will start to feel a little bit more in control of it. You'll start to gain this understanding that, like, hey, maybe I can actually do this. The other thing that happens at that same time is as you're doing things, that feeling of fear starts to go away because you're gaining that proof that you're not unable to do the thing that you're looking to do. You actually have what you need already within you, and what you don't know, you will begin to learn as you start to move forward in a direction. Something that you really need to get comfortable doing is taking messy action, because messy action consistently breeds really beautiful final results. And so if you are walking in the direction, even if it's messy, like, just keep taking one step after another, and you won't know everything. That's the glory of learning. And if we're not learning, then we're not growing. And if you're feeling comfortable and content right now, which is probably exactly where you are, which is also why you're probably afraid to take action, is because things feel a little bit cozy and comfortable where you're at right now. I'm going to quote very poorly Bob Proctor in this and just say that if you're not a little bit uncomfortable, then you're not learning and you're not growing. And if you're not learning and you're not growing, he tended to argue that if you're not moving forward, then you're moving backwards. There are a few mantras that are very helpful in this. I'll link the blog post down below where I share all of the ones that I use, but the ones that I tend to use most often are: done is better than perfect, progress over perfection, and action is the antidote to fear. So how do you start right now? Well, you take action, which might sound very overwhelming to you. And that's probably the case if you've clicked on this video because you're watching this video instead of doing the thing. And the thing is, you probably know exactly what you need to be doing. You have the whole thing mapped out. You've planned everything to the nth degree, which is exactly what I have done. I know exactly my first step. But when you start to feel paralyzed by the fear of taking action, the best thing that you can do is break everything down into the smallest steps humanly possible. Find the one that seems most palatable to you and commit to doing that one small thing. Because the reality is, you are likely just afraid of starting. I don't think you're actually fully afraid of doing the thing. You're afraid of going from this nice, cozy, comfortable place where your brain feels safe because you know what to expect here, even if it's not what you want. The idea of starting anything new, starting anything that's going to change your life, starting anything that's going to introduce a little bit of unknown into your life is really scary. And it's kind of uncomfortable, and your brain is like, hey, whoa, we don't like fear. We don't like things that we don't know. My job is to keep you safe. Let's stay over here where things are nice and cozy and comfortable. But that's not what you're made for. You're made to do big things. That's why you've clicked on this video. So if you can break all of those actions down into the most palatable steps possible. Yes, sir, can I help you? And just commit to doing the easiest one first. Once you're in action, I guarantee that's gonna feel so good that you're just gonna stay in motion. You know the saying of like, a body in motion stays in motion? Well, I tend to argue that the same is true for an idea in motion stays in motion. Once you've gotten started, it's so much easier to keep going. In fact, one of my favorite tricks with this, and it's probably something you've heard before, is set a timer for 5 minutes, only 5. Like literally only 5 minutes. For me, it tends to be the blank screen of death with the blinking cursor that's just staring me down. And I'm like, have I ever written before? Do I know how to write? Do I know how to string a sentence together? Because at this exact moment, none of those things are coming to mind. And I am just staring at a blank screen, feeling full of fear and that I will never be able to do this ever again. We know that's not true. Every single time that the blank screen stares at me, eventually it gets filled with words and eventually it gets submitted and all is well. But it still scares me to get started. And so if I can convince myself to just start writing something, anything, doesn't even really have to make sense. I just have to actually start the act of writing for 5 minutes. That's it. That's all I'm committing to is 5 minutes. And I can do anything for 5 minutes. I may not enjoy it, but I can do it. 9 times out of 10, when that timer goes off, I'm in the flow, I'm feeling great, it's come back to me, it's like riding a bike, I figured it out, I've gotten into the momentum of doing it, and I don't ever really stop when that timer goes off. It's just the act of getting started. Once you're started, it's so much easier to keep moving forward. If you really feel stuck, like if you feel like there's just no way that you could start right now because you're not ready and it's not the perfect time, set a 5-minute timer, pick the smallest action, the one that's easiest for you to do, and do it for 5 minutes and see how you feel when that timer goes off, because I'm almost going to guarantee that you're going to keep going and it's going to feel so good and you're going to have so much fun that you're going to be in the groove and you're going to be starting to research and learn all the things that you need to learn, and it's going to start to feel almost like addicting to keep moving forward because you're starting to kind of gain that evidence and the proof that like, hey, I can actually do this thing, and that feels so much better than sitting in the fear of waiting for the right time, because that's all that lives in that space is fear, anxiety, doubt, questioning all the things, insecurity. That's all that's going to live in that period of time of waiting. All of the things that you're looking to feel, all of the things you're looking to accomplish are right on the other side of getting started. So if you can give yourself just that 5 minutes of momentum, I promise you it's going to start to feel easier to keep moving forward. A few other things that you can do to get started right now to actually take action as this video finishes. Please finish watching the video and then take action. Campbell, my guy. But a few things that you can do pretty much right now are commit publicly, either on like social media or on your blog, or you can commit privately, like with a trusted friend or your family or an accountability partner. You could literally hire an accountability partner on Fiverr online. You can also commit by leaving a comment down below and letting me know exactly what it is that you want to take action on, and I'll check in on you. Another thing that you can do is if you're really just not ready, like if today is not that day, for whatever reason, it needs to be a valid reason. There can be valid reasons and it needs to be a valid reason. You need to set yourself a short deadline. And I mean short. I don't mean next month. I don't mean next quarter. I mean within the next 2 weeks. Set the deadline and actually commit to it. And along with that short deadline, go ahead and add that accountability of committing to it out loud to either your social media, your blog, a friend, a family member, an accountability partner down below in my comments, whatever that might look like. And then of course, the next thing that you can do is ask yourself the question, what's one small thing that I can do right now that's going to help me make progress forward on achieving this goal? Sometimes that can look like organizing files so that when you actually do have the time or the right mindset to take action on this thing, the files are at least organized and it makes it easier for you. For me, a lot of times it can be whether like a blog post, a YouTube video, or even like a chapter of a book. For me, a lot of times that like action I can take right now to make my life a little bit easier when I do have the momentum to take action is to make an outline of the general ideas of what I need to keep in mind as I'm going through the flow of whatever it is that I'm trying to get out on paper. A lot of times is just enough action to make me feel a little bit better and to make the task feel a little less daunting when I do actually make that leap into the actual action. Okay, I know that getting started is the hardest part. If you can learn one thing from this video, and I know there's no way for me to prove this to you except that you just need to take my word for it, do the thing, and report back so that people can come back to this video and see in the comments that there's actual proof and truth to what I'm about to say. You are going to feel so much better once you've started to take messy action moving forward, because I don't know how to explain it in words, and that's a hard thing for me because the words are literally my life. But the doing feels better than the wishing, because within the wishing is nothing but fear, doubt, insecurity, and uncertainty. And once you actually start making messy action, taking those steps forward, is where you start to feel a little more certainty, some clarity, some confidence, of course, some excitement. And it's just really invigorating to actually start making progress towards the thing that you've been wanting to do for as long as you can remember. And you owe it to yourself to do that. The only person you're letting down by not doing it is yourself. And trust me, there's no one that knows that better than me. So I'd like to encourage you to do it right here, right now. Let me know in the comments down below what it is that you're ready to take action on. Let me know how it's going in the comments below. I'm gonna follow up with you. I'm gonna keep accountability, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye.